Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so appreciative for being here. So as a speaker, we all know what happens after lunch. People start to wind down. But I am asking for your energy because I just got off of a flight. Okay? So I've been traveling since 2 p.m. yesterday. And I am exhausted. But I am here and committed to provide you all with an interactive, empowering session about dreaming, daring to dream, and growing boldly towards your best life. So I know some of you all in the room thinking like, what is this mindset snob stuff, right? Right? So how many people agree that the power of our mindset is really what sets us on our trajectory, whether it's positively or negatively? Exactly. Everybody's hand should have went up with that, right? So I'll tell you a little bit about the journey of what birthed the Mindset Snob. So I am retired from Baltimore County Fire Department. I was a paramedic firefighter for 9 years, serving the community. Sometimes people say, well, what do you do for the fire department? There's only one thing that you do for, well, two. You either fight fires or you save lives. I did both of those. At year 9, I promoted to the rank of lieutenant, making me the first black woman ever promoted in the history of a major metropolitan fire department in the United States. So, oh, thank you. Thank you. So fast forward a couple of years, I was doing my thing. I was loving my work, but I hated my job. Can anybody relate to that? Like you love the work, you just hate some of the things that go on with having to deliver the work. And so I'm born and raised inner city Baltimore, Maryland. How many people know about Baltimore? Exactly. So sometimes Baltimore does not have the most positive reflection. Born and raised in a city, statistically, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm going to just put it like that. I'm going to abbreviate the story because of time. But, the challenges, drugs, crime, single parent household, anything could have caught me up to try to get me off of my trajectory. However, I've just always been a big dreamer, always. And so how that relates to my story, when I walked into the fire department on my first day, I did not see anybody that looked like me in a ranking position. So the very first day of my recruit class, I wrote on a sticky note that I was going to be promoted by the time I reached 10 years of service. And I was promoted at year 9 to the rank of lieutenant. And so, like I said, moving forward, loved my work, hated the job. One day, August 18th, 2018, I woke up and I wrote a 3-page resignation letter after 20 years of service. And I said, I'm done. Why was I done? This dream. I was always dreaming about freedom. Freedom of my time, freedom to create, financial freedom. How many people can relate to that in this room? Some kind of freedom, right? You don't want to be, held hostage by an alarm clock. You don't want to be managed by people who are not as aware. I'm not going to say smart. Not as aware as you. You have these creative ideas and you want to step out, but you can't because you're muted and you're diluted. And so one day I just said, you know what? F it. I'm going to go for it. August 18th, 2018, walked into my firehouse, gave them my resignation letter, and my battalion chief said, what the hell is wrong with you? Who walks away from a 20-year career? I was making $106,000 a year. I had a gravy position as a lieutenant. I had my own vehicle. I had my own office. I kind of moved about however I wanted. However, I hated the job. And I told my battalion chief, I'm following a dream. I sounded crazy. I looked crazy. But what do we think or what do we know about the big dreamers of the world? They generally look crazy and sound crazy to most until they until they execute, right? And so walked away 5 years, just 5 years ago. I was in the role. Now I lead a home health care agency in the Baltimore area. We have 75 employees. We're servicing 1,500 hours of care a week. And I reached a milestone that I didn't even know. In the United States, only 4% of women-owned businesses reach revenues of $1 million or more. I did that last year in 2023, in 5 years. And all of this is based off of my dream of freedom. So, raise your hand if you have a dream. Everybody's hands should be up because you're in Barcelona, Spain right now, right? And I'm known to mess up technology. So did I do something wrong? Okay. I see my updated thing did not come through. Okay, we're going to work through this. So let's talk about 3 big dreamers of our time. In my opinion, and I think some of you all will agree, the people that we are going to discuss are amazing. They have pushed humanity forward. They have followed their dreams in spite of, and they have left legacies that will carry on for decades. Who knows Walt Disney? Who has ever been to Disney World or Disneyland? Okay. Who has enjoyed either one of them more than your kids? Exactly. So quotes. I'm a quote girl. Love quotes. Love quotes. And again, I said this is going to be interactive and empowering, right? So Walt Disney once said, all of our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Here's a fact about Mr. Disney. Remember when I said people look crazy and they sound crazy? He always said it always started with a mouse. Now, being from Baltimore City, we don't particularly like mice or mouse. Like that thing kind of reflects like some negative energy. We want to keep the rodents away. However, Mr. Disney took a rodent and has created a legacy, not just for children, but for adults and also businesses to replicate customer service journeys within their organizations for success. So, Walt Disney was a true visionary who dared to dream big and bring his imaginative ideas to life. Despite facing numerous rejections and setbacks early in his career, he never lost sight of his ambitious visions. Mr. Disney had the foresight to create the first full-length animated film. Now, this is something that I did not know that. Snow White and the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. How many people seen that movie? What is, anybody want to share, like, there's 7 dwarfs and a woman in the woods somewhere, right? Anybody want to share about the perception of back then when this movie first came out, how that could possibly have showed up for humanity and in a cartoon, in a cartoon type movie. Because as adults, we've heard other perceptions about a woman in Seven Dwarfs in the woods, right? However, from that movie, what do we know about Disney now and Pixar? At least in the United States.
They animate almost everything.
Everything.
Every movie, every animated
There is no animation without Disney. Disney has its own streaming platform. And again, it goes beyond the entertainment and the theme park. Has anybody ever attended a Disney leadership workshop or seminar? So his legacy has now rolled into teaching people the Disney way of life. It all started with a mouse. He then went on to revolutionize the theme park industry by establishing Disneyland in 1955, making the creative concept of an immersive family experience a reality. Disney's relentless imagination, innovation, and determination to push creative boundaries transformed the entertainment world. Does anybody disagree that Mr. Disney was not ahead of his time and one of the best dreamers and visionaries of our time? All right. Now let's move on to our second dreamer, visionary. How many people in the room have iPhones? Everybody. It's like a cult. Okay. I'm a Droid person. Right, exactly. Okay, Team Droid. Okay, high five, high five. My family has disowned me. My friends think I'm crazy because I will not forego my Android phone. What do we know about Mr. Jobs? Again, master dreamer, master visionary. He was fired from the company that he founded and then rehired because Apple could not figure out how to keep moving the technology forward. Here's a quote. We're gambling on our vision, and we would rather do that than make Me Too products. Let some other companies do that. For us, is always the next dream. Steve Jobs had a visionary knack for making very complex technology simple and user-friendly. He pushed his teams at Apple to create products with clean designs that just worked. Jobs didn't just envision new gadgets. He foresaw entirely new product categories and experiences. The iPod made digital music portable and convenient. The iPhone reimagined what a mobile phone could do with its multi-touch screen and apps. The iPad kicked off the modern tablet craze. Through his bold pursuit of simplicity and innovation, Jobs transformed the way we interact with computers, phones, and technology in our daily lives. His visionary products didn't just change Apple, they changed the entire industry. Raise your hand if you do not agree that Mr. Jobs is one of the most spectacular dreamers of our time. All right. Now, moving on to the third dreamer. Anybody want to take a guess at who that is?
You, us.
Thank you. I wish I had a prize because my entire 8-hour flight, I was thinking to myself, I hope somebody says that.
No.
Oh my goodness, that warms my heart because, again, we all have dreams. What happens though? When we're kids, we're taught to be imaginative, right? Growing up, I had a brother that was 8 years older than me, so technically I was the only child. All I had was my imagination and some doll babies. But what happens as we get older? The world starts to tell us it's not realistic. You have responsibilities. You have a job. You have to get an education. And our innate, creative, God given power is not taken away from us because it can never be taken away from us. It's just suppressed, especially as women. And we go through life with all of these ideas and all of this creative power, and we never take action and execute on it. So I want you all to take 30 seconds right now to write down one vision and one dream. One vision or dream that you've just carried with you. You know, it comes across your mind occasionally, and you're like, oh, I should have, I could have, I would have, I should. I want to see pens moving. I said that this is going to be interactive, and I'm going to give you 1 minute, because sometimes dreams can start to take form. So I'm going to give you 1 minute.
Bianca, Steve Jobs also say that you can have the millions of dollars, but if you have no health, you have nothing.
Exactly, exactly. Mr. Jobs was a very peculiar person. um, Mr. Disney was as well, according to, stories of their teams and people that they worked with. However, the advancements that they made for humanity is out of this world. Okay, now that you've written down your vision and your dream, what action are you going to do? What action are you going to take to start moving forward? Do you think that it is obtainable? Because sometimes we'll allow outside influences to try to tell us that it can't be done. So for me personally, when I walked into Baltimore County Fire Department, there was never, ever a black woman in a ranking position. It was all around me. You can't do this. I did it. It all started with a sticky note. Mr. Disney, it started with a mouse. Mine started with a sticky note. U.S. statistics says that only 4% of women across the board, reach revenues of $1 million. I did it in 4.5 years. So I want you, you have some homework. I might not ever see any of you ever again. I'll probably start following you on LinkedIn, though, and Instagram. But I want to hold you accountable from the distance. I'm now your new homegirl from Baltimore. And that dream that you wrote down, I want you to go home tonight or go back to your hotel room tonight and really think about 3 action steps. You don't have to really take the action, but just write it down. Start getting it out your head. And then watch how the magic starts to show up. We got to think about how greatness comes about when dreams are followed. What is the next best thing that you have? Okay, so let's think about some other off the wall ideas that just took flight. When I came out of the airport, I was looking for Uber. There's taxis all over. I was looking for Uber. Now, who in their right mind 10 something years ago would get into a car with a stranger so they can take you to where you need to go? How do we live without it now? Some of us, Uber and Lyft. So what is the next best thing that you have? What's stopping you? Oh, they did get it. I'm sorry. I apologize. They did get my updated slides. So that's Mr. Jobs, and that's Mr. Disney, and that's you. So what's stopping you? I already know. I put them on the list. Your confidence. How many people, especially women, walk into a room and we don't come in with the main character energy? Why is that? If you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect other people to believe in you? What are some ways that we can nurture our confidence? I affirm myself every day. I don't care how bad I'm feeling. I don't care if I've been traveling 24 hours on a delayed flight, sitting next to somebody that just snores horribly, with the igloo of the aircraft, turbulence the entire 8 hours. I walked in here and I affirmed myself, right? I have come all the way from the United States. This is my first time coming international to speak to a group of people. I have bubble guts right now, okay? But I'm walking in main character energy, because if I don't believe in myself, are you all going to believe in me? So affirm yourself. Listen to positive messaging. Turn the news off. Before I left Baltimore yesterday, the Key Bridge collapsed. One of our major bridges that transport commerce and the tractor trailers and all of this from the port collapsed. There are 6 people still missing. The very first thing I had to do was get on the phone with my employees to make sure they were all safe. However, I had to shut it down real quick because I had to catch a flight to come to Barcelona to talk to people. So immerse yourself in positive messaging as much as you can. Stay away from the negative Nancys. Stay away from the evil eyers and your own thoughts. That's the first thing we got to check. Our own thoughts and limiting beliefs. Where's your faith? So I grew up in a black church, and we went to church on Wednesdays and Sundays. This right here, like we don't question anything. Once we say this is it, this is what I'm doing, you better not question why it ain't happened yet. Is it going to show up? No, we have to strengthen this. And it honestly does not relate directly to religion. It's just believing that when you set your mind to something, it is going to happen. We can't get wrapped up in the when. So I know for me, I'm a little impatient. I'm an Aries. If anybody follow the zodiac, okay. My birthday is Saturday. So, so Aries people, we can be a little impatient, you know. But I always chuck back in. I'm sorry. I know it's coming. Resilience, because you will get slapped and knocked down, and sometimes dragged. When I first opened Home Helpers, we were open and operational November 2019. Guess what happened 4 months later? A brand new business owner that walked away from her 20-year career is now hit with a global pandemic as a new business owner. Fast forward 5 years, we're at $1 million in revenue. Positive mindset. Again, that's just it. That's the icing on the cake. If you want to be your own negative Nancy, please stay away from me and anybody else that is trying to move towards their goal. Finally, your why. Why? Is it freedom? Is it children? Is it your parents that you want to retire? You know, is it philanthropic work? That's very important. That's the second part of your homework. Discover what your why is. And then the final part of your homework is to dream, commit, and blaze your trail. If I can do it, you can do it. And I believe in you. Thank you.